Cowboys, and we're underway in Texas. Williams at the 5. And leaps to the 25-yard line. Tripped up by Benny Thompson, one of the special team stars in the NFL. It's 2-8. Newton, Stepnoski. These are Pro Bowl names. Kennard and Allen for the injured Eric Williams. Troy Aikman returns after a 2-week hiatus. Emmitt Smith with his blocker, Darrell Johnston. Alvin Harper leads the league in yards per catch. Michael Irvin, sensational again. And Jay Novacek, the reliable tight end. When they go to the 3 wide, Kevin Williams is the slot. Aikman starts from the 25, his left knee in a protective brace. Comes out throwing, but he's shy to Michael Irvin out at the 42. The Browns defense, no stingier defense in the league, are averaging just 12.6 points allowed. Burnett, Johnson, Jones, Pleasant, a young, aggressive line. Banks and Johnson, former Giants, give it stability along with Frank Stams. Antonio Langham has been one of the prize rookies in the league from Alabama at one corner, Griffin at the other. Stephon Moore and Eric Turner are the safeties, and Caldwell and Booth come in the nickel. Aikman again to throw. Through the hands of Novacek and almost intercepted by Pepper Johnson. He thought he had it.
And Dick, those first 2 passes, I believe, by Dallas were to check out Troy Aikman. See how he can set up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets up. Normally when Troy Aikman is healthy, he is the quickest guy in the league away from center. Now he's not. He's going back rather gingerly here. Again, the brace is on the left knee. This is a double zone, and they're trying to hit Novacek down the middle. That's 0 for 2 for Troy Aikman. They're trying to find out what he can and can't do early here.
Kevin Williams slotted right as he goes to 3 wide. 3 straight passes, and he goes long this time for Harper. Incomplete, but interference will be called on Antonio Langham of Cleveland.
A credit to this young man, a rookie out of Alabama.
Wait, he might call it the other way. Let's check this. A little push by Harper, and it's
decline.
Dick Hancock, the man with the white hat today. 3 passes and out for the Dallas Cowboys, and John Jett averaging 42.5 a punt this year. Middle of the pack of NFL kickers. Eric Metcalf, you see the star. 2 touchdowns returned on punts. Can be a game breaker. Back home in Texas.
Do they kick to him is the question.
More and more, Metcalf not getting the ball kicked to him. Beautiful spiral toward the sidelines, and indeed out of bounds. It'll be around the 35-yard line.
Very interesting.
32.
Very interesting choice by Dallas. You know, if he's going to catch it, make him catch it running sideways.
Vinny Testaverde as the Browns have the ball for the first time. Tony Jones, Dawson, Steve Everett in his second year, regarded as one of the top young linemen in the league. Bob Dahl and Orlando Brown to protect Testaverde and open the holes for Eric Metcalf and the leading Cleveland rusher Leroy Horde. Michael Jackson been out half the year with a hamstring. Derek Alexander, fresh from a 171-yard game last Sunday against the Giants. Brian Kinchin, the tight end. Jackson and Alexander to the left. They go with 2 tight ends. Frank Hartley lined up on the right side. Leroy Horde tricks and then lunges for a couple out to the 35. The Dallas Cowboy defense reads this way. Tolbert, Maryland. He is nicked but wanted to start. The Cowboys defense has been intact all year. No one has missed a start. Big Cat Leon Lett. Charles Haley has 10.5 sacks. Edwards, Jones, Smith the backers. Kevin Smith and Larry Brown at the corners, and the hitters are James Washington and Darren Woodson. Kenneth Gant the nickel. 2nd down 7. Ford up the middle with a good charge and close to a first down at the 42. Darren Smith led the charge, and we may have a measurement. Barry Switzer. Life returns to this coach who starred at the campus of the University of Oklahoma in Norman and then out of work for several years until his old Arkansas buddy Jerry Jones gave him a call and said, got a crazy idea.
Got a crazy idea, yeah. A lot of people still think it might be crazy, but it worked. He came in here and kept the same schedule. He kept the same routine. He approaches the game a lot differently than Jimmy Johnson. He treats the players more as men, gives them their leeway, and the players have responded, but he knows what he's doing. He knows how to push buttons.
Leeway with responsibility.
Yes, that's true. In the preseason, a couple of young kids went out and acted foolish, and he went to the veterans and said, hey, take care of these kids. This is your team.
First down for the Browns. Testaverde's first throw, and he has a man wide open. Michael Jackson inside the 30-yard line. Covered by Kevin Smith. Had Testaverde given him a little more lead, that could have been a touchdown.
Now, one of the things we were told was that the Cleveland offense was going to take some chances. Of course, Jackson been out 7 games with a bad hamstring, just coming back now. And Vinny Testaverde, he's accused of a lot of things, but he's always been able to throw the ball deep very, very well, Dick.
30-yard play. First down at the 28. Leroy Horde. And the former University of Michigan star plows to the 21. A gain of 6 or 7, and might have been more, but he ran into his own blocker.
Yeah, Dick even admitted, I'm not a pretty runner. If you want to see the pretty runner in today's game, you watch Emmett. He runs into the back of the offensive lineman, but he keeps chugging. Probably his greatest attribute. He never gives up on a play. Doug Dawson, number 69, got a little bruise in his back. There's Belichick on the sideline. He said that he didn't have to drag anybody on the plane to come down here this week.
Oh, this is what a player dreams of. Get to play the Super Bowl champions and measure your own quality. Big hole. Leroy Horde to the 10-yard line. 11 more yards and a very impressive opening drive by the Cleveland Browns.
And the Browns have found something here. They're going 2 tight ends, and it balances the defense. You see the double team by 66 Tony Jones down on Robert Jones, the middle linebacker, and a nice little slide by Leroy Horde gets him right up to the line of scrimmage.
28 yards in his first 4 carries. Ball right on the 10-yard line, and Randy Baldwin comes in for Leroy Horde. Slips, no gain. It had rained all day Friday and yesterday, belying the beautiful sunshine we saw this morning, and so the carpet is slick, and we've seen a couple of misplays already.
There was a tarp on the turf, but because of the hole in the stadium and the crown here on the field, a lot of it collects from the hash marks out, so it's going to be a while before this turf dries out.
Dallas tough early defensively. Horde is back in. Screen it to Horde. Gets a block. Fumbles. And Dallas recovers in the end zone for a touchback. Robert Jones. Oh, my.
Perfectly executed. This is well disguised by the Cleveland Browns. Doug Dawson out in front. He does it slipping again. Haley strips the ball away. Number 94, Jones with a recovery. A wasted drive. And that dreaded turnover. And Testaverde from... Oh, no. Need big players to make big plays. Watch Charles Haley cut to the ground by Tony Jones. He gets up off the ground and comes back and strips the ball away from Horde. Recovered by Jones. The drive for naught for Cleveland.
And for Cleveland, a song they've heard much too often of late. Fumble, fumble, fumble. That's the 9th they've coughed up in the last 3 games plus that drive. Dallas gets it on the 20. Touchback. Emmett. 5, 10. 1 man to beat. And Eric Turner gets him out of bounds at the 46. Smith touches the ball for the first time, and the Cowboys get 26 yards.
Nice little toss sweep here. Big block by Moose. Darrell Johnston out front. You know, Emmett Smith complained to us that he wasn't getting the yards in big chunks this year, that he was facing an 8-man front. Well, Cleveland at the outset here going with a 7-man front, not committing that extra safety. Look at the blocking by Novacek. Eric Turner finally gets him out of bounds. Big pickup, Dallas.
Emmitt Smith at age 25, over 7,000 career rushing yards. He's the 21st player. And going after 8,000 out to the 46-yard line of the Browns before Don Griffin at corner can chop him down. Gain of 8 more.
Dick Brown's defense, they want to save those 4 guys back there, the defensive backs, for Urban and Harper. They do not want to commit a safety, that 8th guy, and it would be Eric Turner to stop the run. But on those 2 rushes, now the defensive coordinator, Nick Saban's got to think, wait a minute, do I have to put that 8th guy up there? I don't want to, but I may have to.
Second down 2. Emmitt Smith denied the first down, a gain of 1 at the 45. But Emmitt Smith starting this game the way he is hit the NFL like a Texas tornado, number 22. 3 straight NFL rushing titles. And going for number 4, but Barry Sanders in his way. The man from Pensacola, Florida, has 19 touchdowns. Well, Jim Brown won the title 8 out of 9 years, 5 in a row. And Smith, Earl Campbell, Steve Van Buren, 3 straight. There's the great Cleveland Brown runner, Jim Brown. Smith gets the first down to the 41-yard line. Stephon Moore and Mike Caldwell with a stop. So Emmitt Smith, after not touching the ball on the first Dallas possession, now has 40 yards on 4 tries in this drive.
You know, back to that graphic when we talked to Emmitt, he wanted that rushing title. He wanted it big time. He doesn't wish any bad luck to Barry Sanders, but he said, you know, if Barry happens to stub his toe, I'd still like a good shot at that rushing title. But with Barry Sanders' performance today, it's out of reach.
Play action, overthrown and not caught. Antonio Langham had an interception. It would have been his 3rd of the year, but the rookie couldn't pull it down.
Hard to overthrow Michael Irvin. Irvin has got great leaping ability, just like Harper does, but to this point, Aikman doesn't look sharp. Normally, there's a lot of zip on that ball. He generally does not overthrow receivers. He may underthrow them. He was a little tentative on Tuesday with that knee brace in practice, but he's still experimenting on exactly what he can do here, Dick.
Smith feeling his way for 3. Back to Troy Aikman. You have that bad left knee where you really can't get down your weight down over that front leg when you're throwing. That means you're up higher, and that means you usually will release the ball high.
You're right, but the Dallas Cowboys players have been so successful as a group. These guys fight to get back on the field from injury. A lot of them probably come back on the field prematurely. But Barry Switzer says, you know, what greater attribute can you have as a player? You're not keeping me out of the lineup again. Troy Aikman says he wants to play. He's going to play.
3rd and a long 5. The quickie complete. Michael Irvin, first down at the 25. Don Griffin brings him down.
So many weapons. This offense just dictates to the defense what it wants you to do. This is man coverage, tight coverage, inside Don Griffin. Look at the size of Michael Irvin. He just shields Griffin away from the ball. Again, Griffin sitting inside. Irvin still gets the inside release, and Aikman hits him right on the money. These 2 receivers here, Irvin and Harper, changed the way cornerbacks are drafted in the NFL. They're looking for much bigger kids.
Michael Dean Perry enters the game for Cleveland. And it's Johnston, the Moose, to the 12. Close to another first down. Frank Stamps, Don Griffin get him out of bounds.
Well, Novacek must feel left out. He's the only one who's not gotten the ball his way. But Irvin, Harper, they give it to Emmitt, and then they give it to Darrell Johnston out of the backfield. Now, that's a little appetizer. You know, they give him the pass and they expect him to block.
Leroy Horde doing so well on the Cleveland Browns drive. 7 plays, 67 yards, but fumbled at the 1 into the end zone. And Dallas took over in the 20 and now have driven to the 11. Make that the 16. Aikman. Almost intercepted. Eric Turner was sitting there. He could taste it. He was hoping the ball would be thrown.
And that was overthrown by Troy Aikman. Got out of round. Again, watch Troy set up. Quick away from the center. Watch this thing get out of round. That's not a Troy Aikman pass. Thrown way behind Harper. Troy doesn't look good to this point. An inside release by Harper, inside Langham, good coverage, ball thrown way behind Harper.
Over here. And Eric Turner with 7 interceptions, tied with Terry McDaniel for the lead. 3rd and 1, and Emmett Smith hit hard, but he vaults to a first down at the 14. And when the Cowboys get inside the 20, one of the very best. The Niners scoring. Now, these aren't just scoring. These are touchdowns scored inside the 20, and 49ers converting almost 73%, and Dallas 2 out of 3 times.
But where isn't Dallas the best, or one of the best? Any stat you can put up there.
Meanwhile, the Browns have been one of the most difficult to score against. Only 14 touchdowns out of 35 tries. Emmett with that toss and then just waiting for something to develop and then charge through it. Stamps and Turner collaborate on the tackle.
Leroy Horde on the sideline because of his fumble. And his drive stays alive. Haley stripped it away. Emmett tells his offensive lineman, look, just get movement. Get on your guy. Stay with him. I'll find the spot.
2nd down and a short 4. Not much there that time, and closing the gap was number 96 James Alfie Jones from Northern Iowa. He's playing more today with the injury to Michael Dean Perry. There's Jones, who is also used as a lead blocker for the Browns when they get down on the goal line.
After the fashion of Michael Dean Perry's big brother William with the Chicago Bears.
Philadelphia, 3rd down and 3.
Yeah.
Aikman to Smith. Touchdown number 20. Barry Sanders caught his first touchdown pass this season, and that was the first reception for a touchdown for Emmitt Smith. Other 19 on the ground. Rookie Chris Bonio, who's been a wonderful surprise for the Cowboys, the free agent from Louisiana Tech, adds the extra point. 80-yard drive. Impressively, the Super Bowl champs lead 7-0. 80-yard drive. Emmitt Smith, the workhorse, got 60 of the 80 yards as Bonio kicks it off to Baldwin and Metcalf to the side of Baldwin, short at the 14. And Baldwin finally bumped out of bounds around the 37-yard line by Darren Woodson. Let's go back to the touchdown.
You saw about 13 plays or pages of the playbook there for the Dallas Cowboys. This, Emmitt Smith out on the flat, his first reception for a touchdown this season. There is just so much offense available for the Dallas Cowboys. They use it all.
From Pensacola, Florida. Emmitt Smith already worn out one set of shoulder pads. That's a pretty good drive. Cleveland starts at the 37, and Leroy Horde 3 yards on first down. And Horde as well going to an equipment change.
I don't know. Maybe Emmitt's family owns a card shop back in Pensacola, Florida. Maybe they sign those, send them back, you know, get a price on them.
I bet they would.
Horde has got spatted up shoes here. Again, this surface in Texas Stadium a little damp. The tape on the bottom of shoes on a wet surface really doesn't work. You may have to get rid of that tape down there.
Eric Metcalf replaces him. Good catch by tight end Brian Kinchin, short of the first down as he smothered by Dallas Stars. Darren Smith and James Washington first there.
Kinchin is here. He just runs the out pattern. Testaverde taking the very conservative approach. You saw Metcalf open out here in the flat, but Cleveland's got to be patient here. Down 7-0. I think they now realize against the two-time defending world champion Dallas Cowboys, you just cannot commit a mistake. You can't give them any more opportunities than they're already going to get, because they're going to kill you.
Close enough for a measurement. And just shy. That much on third down for Cleveland. Bill Belichick. Boy, he just symbolizes the rough road for the head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, just the exhaustion, how little sleep these men take during the course of the year. And what is interesting is that after 61 games, they have identical records, Belichick and Jimmy Johnson. Of course, Johnson's first team was 1-15, as you can see. Belichick may have inherited a little better ball club, but that's an interesting.
Yeah, they're also both 24-hour day coaches. I don't think they ever stopped thinking about football. Bill and his wife have 3 little kids, all under 10 years old. He's a great family man.
Cowboys had leaned offside. I believe Charles Haley had fallen into the neutral zone as Testaverde sneaks it ahead. Flags are down. Now, Haley's already shown his quickness in this game. One of the top pass rushers, and he's really been picking on the Pennsylvanians.
Offside defense, the right tackle, 5 yards. The yardage is a first down.
First down.
Yeah, sometimes the defensive linemen, they try to anticipate that snap count. It certainly happens here. Testaverde with the hard counts. He's trying to crawl into the neutral zone. Same penalty.
Haley, who had 4 sacks against Pittsburgh and 3 sacks against Philadelphia, 7 of his 10.5. Testaverde has to eat it at the 42. A loss of 10, and it's Haley. And Lett was there first.
You know, the amazing thing about this Dallas defense, Dick, is that here's Leon Lett right here. Haley comes in from the backside. They can get to the quarterback with 4 pass rushers. Lett just absolutely shoves the center Everett right back in the offensive backfield. That flushes Testaverde, and Haley cleans up.
The Cowboys are number 2 in the league. That's their 41st sack, 9 behind the leading Steelers. And Haley now with 11.5. Cleveland will take a timeout with 2nd and long. 57-year-old Barry Switzer. 3 national titles at Oklahoma. Something like 16 of his Sooner players were #1 draft picks in the NFL. 2nd and 18. That didn't fool the Cowboys. Eric Metcalf, a little draw, and Charles Haley drops him for a loss.
Again, 3 wides by Cleveland right here, and basically Dallas stays with their base defense. And you see the speed again. Haley just jumps right around Tony Jones, 66, and is there to make the tackle rather easily. This is an aggressive defensive front 4. Get across the line of scrimmage. Jones, 55 there too. So now this is that dangerous down. 3rd and very long for Cleveland.
3rd and 19. Testaverde going long for Alexander, and there's the flag. The official on the spot didn't call it, but on the far side the flag is thrown as Alexander tackled before the ball arrived by Larry Brown.
That ball took forever to get there.
Alexander, who had a supreme performance last Sunday against the Giants with 171 yards, he's become the first Cleveland rookie since Paul Warfield had 3 100-yard games.
Rollout by Testaverde. Shoulders kind of square. There's a lot of contact here on both sides, but I think you can clearly see Larry Brown just pull him down by the shoulder pads. Again, inside Brown stays with him. Now watch the right arm go up on the shoulder pads. Right there. And still, Alexander almost catches the football.
48-yard penalty.
Got the face mask, got the helmet, got the shoulder pads.
Testaverde bailing the Browns out of 3rd and 19 with a scramble, and that opened up the play. 1st and goal at the 8. Leroy Horde. And Horde, look at him battle, trying to make amends for the fumble. And he's to the 2-yard line before he can be pushed back by Smith and Edwards et al. 38 yards rushing now for Leroy Horde.
He's a diesel. He keeps those legs a turning. Of course, this is a young man who, because of the salary cap, was released, then re-signed at a reduced rate. Said it was a defining moment in his life, but he's gotten on with his life. I can still contribute here, and with incentives, he's probably going to make the same kind of money, but he is a tough back to bring down.
Randy Baldwin replaces him. He crushed. Tony Tolbert slashing in from his defensive end position.
A Dick again here for Cleveland. This is not a clean handoff. Watch the contact between Testaverde and Randy Baldwin. See, it doesn't happen cleanly, and that's all Tolbert needs. He jumps inside the offensive tackle there, Orlando Brown, and is there to make the tackle. I watched Barry Switzer's press conference. He said that Tony Tolbert had his best game of the season last week against Philadelphia.
2 yards from a tying score. Leroy Horde back in. Touchdown to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's 2nd touchdown of the year.
The little fade pattern thrown well by Vinny Testaverde. It doesn't take much protection, but it's all up to the receiver. Jackson makes the catch and also keeps his feet in. The clean catch, and again, right over Larry Brown, number 24, the guy who had the interference penalty on him.
Well, this sellout crowd at Texas Stadium quieted, and don't forget, Tupa, the holder, has 3 two-point conversions this year. Not this time. Stover knocks it home, and we have a tie game at the end of the 1st quarter at Texas Stadium. The Cowboys 7 and the Browns 7. Larry Brown, a 48-yard pass interference, and then beaten on the fade for the touchdown. It's 7-all, and a reminder, tomorrow night, don't miss the holiday comedy classic National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, starring Chevy Chase, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Randy Quaid. That's tomorrow night on NBC, 9 o'clock, 8 Central. Matt Stover to Kevin Williams. Again, they kick it toward the sidelines and short. This time Kevin Williams to the 38-yard line. Now on come the Dallas Cowboys and Troy Aikman.
Young man who doesn't like the helmet radio. That's Robert Ford on the sideline. He signals things in to Troy Aikman. They had a big face mask on his helmet when he got a couple of concussions and hit the chin. He's got the same shoulder pads on that he wore in college. Very particular about his comfort level.
Vinny Testaverde off to a solid 1st quarter start, and but for a fumble at the 1-yard line by Leroy Horde, the Browns would have the lead. Aikman to Harper. Fumble the ball, and the Cleveland Browns recover at the 46-yard line. Stephon Moore picks up Harper's fumble at midfield.
Dick, I didn't see a big heavy hit here on Alvin Harper. That ball just seemed to pop out of his hands. Excellent throw by Aikman. Catches it cleanly. Langham knocks it loose. 38, the rookie knocks it loose. Stephon Moore, the safety, recovers it.
And a big break for Cleveland.
A lot of players slipping around here. Has nothing to do with the fumble, but excellent job by Langham. By the way, Langham, 38, when he showed up after 3 days of camp, he was the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. 3 whole days.
Their number 1 pick. First down at the 47. Fake to Metcalf and a screen to Baldwin. And Baldwin gets just 2 yards before he's tackled by James Washington. And the special spots reserved on the bench for the man who gives up the ball.
Yeah, but you know what? Generally speaking, you see a lot of people go over to Dallas players and pat them on the back. Hey, you made a mistake. That's all right. Again, that's very typical of the Dallas team. This is a close bunch of young men. Of course, with their success, you do get very close. They're a tight bunch.
2nd and 8. Metcalf with running room. And takes the sidelines to the 46 of Dallas. That'll be 3 yards short of a first down as Larry Brown made the stop.
A little swing pass thrown by Vinny Testaverde. If you can get the receiver in stride, in this case it's the running back, and he's got a chance. And that's all they need out of Metcalf here. Just get him involved somehow in the offense so he's a threat. I mean, that's a nice pickup there for Cleveland. It's a very high percentage, low risk pass.
Leroy Horde back in. Testaverde, perfect 6 for 6 passing. 7 for 7 as Michael Jackson has a first down at the 35. Former Southern Mississippi star, where he caught the passes of Brett Favre.
Dick, watch Kevin Smith, 26. He kind of drops off here. This is zone. Kevin Smith is caught looking in at the quarterback. They emptied the backfield with Horde, and just a moment's look by the cornerback allowed that little cushion there, and Testaverde makes the completion.
Make it a 12-yard gain to the 34. Tied at 7 early in the second quarter. Slams inside the 25, another dozen. Finally hit by Dixon Edwards, and the Browns offense has been very impressive. 3 drives and 3 long drives.
Again, trying to spread out this Dallas defense so they can get a big guy on a big guy. They're giving Leroy Horde the option to really find the spot through that defense. I mean, look, this is a quality offense when it's functioning in this manner. As long as they don't have those long yardage situations.
The pump and go. Incomplete. Trying to hit the rookie Alexander, who is 6'2". He's built along the lines of Harper and Irvin, the tall, lanky Cowboy wide receivers.
I was shocked to hear him say last night he's surprised at his success.
He didn't sell that very well, did he?
No, he didn't. And that's part of growing up in the NFL. You know, you got to be a good actor. Because Kevin Smith has been around a while. He showed up at camp for the Cleveland Browns in very bad shape. Bill Belichick got him in shape in a big hurry.
Horde running in air for a moment after the hit to the 20 as Robert Jones applied the tackle. And a gain of 4. And Troy Aikman goes to a different, no, it's the same shoulder pads. It's just he wants a little heavier jersey.
What's going on here? A fashion show here on the sideline at Texas Stadium.
Do you wear a heavy or a light jersey?
I didn't know I had an option, frankly. I wore the one they gave me.
On 3rd and 7, they get to Baldwin. And Baldwin to the 17, short of the first down, and Bill Belichick motions for the field goal unit to come on.
Again, the conservative approach by the Cleveland Browns. Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator. Bill Belichick, he wants points out of this drive somehow. Doesn't want to take a chance with the pass. And a lot of people criticize him for that, but
Stover looking for a Cleveland record if he makes this one. It will be a 35-yard attempt to break Don Cockcroft, the tie with Cockcroft at 16 in a row. And he is in the Cleveland Browns record book, and that's a record book where you can be very proud of the names that surround you. Stover, who grew up in Dallas, 17 in a row, and Cleveland claims the lead. Welcome back to sold-out Texas Stadium. There's our president of NBC Sports on the left, Dick Ebersol, his wife, Susan St. James, and Paul Tagliabue with the X's and O's.
Paul likes to watch football.
Kicked off by Matt Stover is going to go out of bounds, and with it, the penalizing effect of an out-of-bounds kick as Dallas gets it at the 40-yard line. But Stover, it's a nice story. You know, when he grew up in Dallas playing pee-wee football, his coach was a Dallas assistant named Dan Reeves.
Where is Dan Reeves now? What is he doing?
I think he's watching and maybe getting ready for a pretty important game himself tomorrow.
Yeah, Stover used to sell programs here at Texas Stadium so he could get into the game and watch his hero, Roger Staubach, play.
Not a bad man to pick. Oh, the Cowboys trailing 10-7, unable to really stop Cleveland. Now have a chance themselves at the 40. Emmitt Smith for 3 yards. Bill Johnson in on the tackle. Troy Aikman, even without Aikman, 2 different quarterbacks, Jason Garrett and Rodney Peete, and the Cowboys win. In fact, the 11 games with Aikman, there's their production, and without him, everyone hunching it up a bit, and they actually producing more offensively.
Yeah, I don't think Troy Aikman's real happy with that graphic, but it is the truth. Jason Garrett and Rodney Peete did an excellent job in his absence.
2nd down and 7. And Emmitt to the 48-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down. And make it the 49. It'll be 3rd and 1. Carl Banks, the veteran from Michigan State, in his 11th year making the tackle.
Dick, you're going to see 29 come in from the side. There he is, 29, Eric Turner. Daryl Johnston makes the block. Turner eventually makes the tackle or assists on the tackle. Now it appears Cleveland's committing that 8th guy to stop Emmitt. And that means the pass is open.
He's on his way to a 150-yard day, Emmitt Smith. 1st down as he crosses the 50. At the 49-yard line, Anthony Pleasant in on the stop.
You know, you mentioned Emmitt on his way to a 150-yard day. This Cleveland defense through 13 games has yet to allow a 100-yard rusher. Last week, they allowed their first 100-yard receiver in Mike Sherrard of the New York Giants. So Saban very proud of the job this defense has done.
There's your new Michigan State University head coach. Tomorrow he will fly to East Lansing and meet his Spartan team.
Just a 2-hour meeting and then back to Cleveland.
The sidelines to Johnston. And the Moose is out of bounds at the 46 with a 3-yard catch. Langham, the defender.
He's an amazing kid. Never missed a start or a game in the regular or postseason for the Dallas Cowboys. One of the quietest individuals you ever meet. And Pepper Johnson, the middle linebacker of the Cleveland Browns, says he is the best blocking running back in the NFL.
And he's met a few.
Generally shorter come any given Sunday or, in this case, Saturday night.
Emmitt dragged down by Pepper Johnson and others at the 43, where it'll be 3rd down and 4. Emmitt Smith, father and mother here from Pensacola, cheering him on. Dad still drives a bus in Pensacola.
Yeah.
Got 3 or 4 years to go till he retires.
I like the fact that Emmitt is so famous that his mom and dad sign autographs.
That's famous. And he's also with a touchdown today. 73 touchdowns. All those footballs have gone back to his card shop, Pensacola. That'll be good for the 1st down as Michael Irvin collects it inside the 35.
Boy, does Michael Irvin like this. He loves confrontation. He loves that man-on-man matchup. This time it's Don Griffin. And the hand fighting just knocks away the hand of Don Griffin so he can get the free release that he wants. And over his career, he prefers to go deep. Told us that, look, I like going down the field. Emmitt Smith is our 5-yard hitch.
I don't do this.
Yeah, I want deep.
The playmaker, Michael Irvin. On first down, Aikman to Smith. Down at the 33. Maybe a yard on the play. James Jones and Carl Banks on the stop.
That qualifies as a hitch. It's a little swing pass out in the flat.
Belichick, who was the defensive wizard with Bill Parcells in their 2 Super Bowl championship years, migrating to Cleveland. And his defense reflecting his strength coaching that side of the ball. 2nd and 10. Smith tried to cross up the Browns with a run on 2nd and long, but Carl Banks didn't buy it.
I think this is where Michael Dean Perry really hurts, not being on the field. I don't want to shortchange Bill Johnson and James Jones. You see the little tackle game, and Jones comes across the line. But Michael Dean Perry, not only big, but very, very quick off the ball. And he brings so much to that defensive line. They need him more to stop the run than they do to get to the passer.
We'll see how he uses that Joe Green cock stance. 3rd and 8. Aikman almost intercepted as Antonio Langham with great reaction to the ball, darting in front of the intended receiver.
That's the 2nd time it's bounced off his hands, Dick. Boy, they read that beautifully. That was a blitz coming by Cleveland. Langham jumps all over Urban, and he's inside there. Watch, he's looking inside, looks back at Urban. When Urban looks back, he goes for the ball. If I can just catch it, that's all I need to do.
Chris Bonial in for a long field goal. In fact, it would be his longest of his rookie season. 49 yards, this one, out of Jay Novacek's hold. And a fly. That kick won't count. Hits the upright and caroms through. It appeared that the snapper falsely moved the ball, and Cleveland will take a 5-yard penalty.
False start. Offense simulating the start of the play. Number 92. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down. Please reset.
Here's Tolbert right here. He's the one who kind of rocks back, and you do see Stepnoski when he puts his head down, and then Cleveland fakes. Tolbert buys it. 5 yards. That's out of Bonial's range.
That would have made it a 54-yard field goal, so that 5-yard penalty actually cost Dallas 3 points. The kick would have been good. It hit the upright and sliced through. So jet to punt with Metcalf at the 10. Aims it to the sidelines away from the dangerous Metcalf. And Cleveland will get it between the 10 and 15-yard line. We have a timeout. Man in the half, and 3 drives for Cleveland have all gone inside the 20. They fumbled at the 1 of Dallas, and they were to the 17 in that 3rd drive. You draw a lot better than I do.
Well done, Mr. Enberg. Well done.
I'm good on 1s and 7s. They start at the 10, leading 10-7. Leroy Horde smothered, then he gets outside, out of the tackle, and picks up 5. Robert Jones finally gets him down, along with Darren Woodson.
Leroy averages 4.6 a rush coming in here, and he never stops fighting for a yard or an inch.
6.8 a carry today.
That'll work. That'll work, especially in 1st down plays for the Cleveland Browns. The better they can do on 1st down, the less pressure there is on the rest of the offense.
He gets 20 more yards. He'll have more yards this year than his first 4 years combined with Cleveland. Randy Baldwin replaces him. 2nd and a long 4. And Baldwin knocked down shy of the first down. Tolbert again submarining through.
I see Leroy Horde over here on the Cleveland bench. He's being tended to by doctors and trainers here.
He was very slow in walking out to the huddle after the timeout, almost as if, yeah, I'm not sure I should be in here. From New Orleans, he's a engaging young guy and a big sports fan, collects cards. Brian Piccolo, Mickey Mantle, he mentioned. He said, who didn't want to have a Brian Piccolo card when Brian's song was the big hit movie when he was a kid?
This guy caught passes from Elvis. Leroy Horde caught passes from Elvis.
Not the King.
Oh.
Elvis.
Gerbach. Oh, that's right. Now I get it.
I knew you would. Ernest Biner comes in. The veteran started with the Browns, had some big years with the Redskins. Biner, number 20 in his 11th year. Looks at 3rd and 1. Cleveland doing a great job. 3rd and short. Crowd gets into it. Struggling to cross that red stripe and gets through for the first down. Biner, maybe one of the best trades ever made by the Washington Redskins when they gave up Mike Oliphant for Biner in 1989, and he led the Skins in rushing 3 years.
Yeah, that trade was kind of forced by that fumble out in Denver in that conference championship game. They didn't forgive Ernest Biner for a long time. This is a quality young man. He can be a leader on anybody's team in the NFL.
And it's Biner. Quick feed out across the 25. A gain of 5. Darren Smith and Darren Woodson with the stop.
You know, it's interesting that Biner comes here and contributes quickly. This offense in Cleveland, very close to the Washington Redskins office. Haley with the inside rush runs right by Ernest Biner. So Ernest was able to pick up on it quickly and be a contributor.
Jackson was the closest Brown to the play, and he acted as though somebody must have been over the other side.
It looked like Vinny Testaverde was expecting an outside release by Jackson because he threw it out by the sideline. Jackson was a good 8 or 10 yards on the field of play. See, Jackson takes this release as opposed to the outside release. Vinny puts it up and puts it up quickly. There's no real pressure on him. This is way outside of Jackson.
Working on Larry Brown. Apparently he's the targeted defender. Third down and 5. In the flat to Metcalf, and he ducks out of bounds before being hit by Kenneth Gant, the nickelback, and it's very close to the first down, and they spot it as a first down.
Looked like the Cowboys there were coming with a blitz. Looks right there like we got a blitz, and we've also got extra defensive backs in the ball game. Testaverde makes the right choice here. Get it out in the flat. The hot receiver. Metcalf makes the reception and does pick up the first down.
Leroy Horde returns to the backfield behind Testaverde. 2.5 left in this first half. Jackson right in the breadbasket and couldn't bring it home. And Michael Jackson's been under some criticism this year in Cleveland country, and that he is out 7 weeks with a hamstring, and drops like that won't win any favor.
That wasn't even close. I mean, come on. If he had a pocket on that shirt, it would have been a completion.
Jackson, who did catch the touchdown on the fade in the first quarter on the final play of 2 yards. To the tight end, Kinchin. And he's hit down by Tolbert at the 36-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Kinchin, the long snapper on the team. Cleveland tried to get Walter Reeves from Tampa. They signed him, and then he hurts his back. So Kinchin has turned out to be a pretty good tight end for them.
And his brother, not a bad little receiver out there with the Los Angeles Rams, Todd Kinchin. There's the 2-minute timeout. Cleveland with the ball and a 3-point lead. They're all important now as we steam toward the playoffs, and the Cleveland Browns trying to keep the pressure on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lead at 10-7. The Cowboys with a victory would assure a bye in the first round and home field in the second of the playoffs. 3rd and 5. 2 minutes to go. First half. Testaverde down shy at the first down at the 39. Jim Jeffcoat, the veteran from Arizona State, harassing him. And there's a good choice by Testaverde. He wanted to go over the middle, and the Cowboys were right there. He was able to pull it back and not cough it up.
He gets up limping. He was trying to get the ball to Ernest Biner out in a flat, Dick. Excellent coverage by Dallas, and you're right. Hanging on to that football was a good choice by Vinny.
Dallas timeout. Troy Horde, while we were away, getting some first class and first-hand advice from the immortal Jim Brown. Although Horde said as he grew up, Gale Sayers was his hero, and it was about 29 years ago that Sayers had that 6-touchdown game against San Francisco, remember?
He was a glider, wasn't he?
Tom Tupa drives a booming spiral to Kevin Williams, returnable from the 15. Gets 10 and gets 12. 46-yard punt. 1 minute 34 seconds left in the half. Dallas has 2 timeouts. Now 10-7. Cleveland leading Dallas. Dallas ball, and a reminder that time will be involved, plus some of the greatest moments all-time. Bob Hope, 9 o'clock Wednesday, 8 Central. Emmitt Smith, first down run called by the Cowboys, and a flag is down. 1:27 left in this first half as the clock stops on the penalty against Cleveland. 5.
Offside. Defense nose tackle, lined up in the neutral zone, 5 yards. Repeat the down. First down.
Nose tackle, at least. Yeah, he's up there cheating that neutral zone. Past years, he'd have probably been all right, but now Michael Dean Perry called, lined up in the neutral zone.
It's the first penalty against Cleveland today. The Cowboys trying to work against the clock here, tie it or go ahead before the intermission. Aikman, and he stops the clock with a first down at the 45, a 13-yard gain.
Dick, that's the first time I've seen Troy Aikman look good there. Perfect timing, quick away from the center, set up well, and this ball is halfway to Michael Irvin when he makes the break. Look, head around, bam, ball there. That's almost impossible for anybody to defend. Watch the setup here by Aikman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set, throws. That's Troy Aikman.
That was a beautiful throw. 67 catches on the year now for Michael Irvin, who leads the Cowboys. Aikman being chased from behind, and down he goes at the 41. Number 28, Don Griffin. It's interesting that Griffin is second on the Browns list in sacks. If they call that a sack, that'll be his 4th of the year, a cornerback.
One of the things the Cleveland Browns have begun to do, especially in nickel packages, is blitz defensive backs. He gets around Emmitt Smith. Normally Emmitt a very good pass protector, and runs down Troy Aikman.
1 sack aside in this first half. Kevin Williams makes this catch short of the first down at the 47. The clock running under a minute. And Dallas will spend a timeout, trailing 10-7. They kept that window open in the roof so God could look down on his favorite team. Dallas with 1 timeout left. 54 seconds remain in the half. 3rd down and 2. And he did not get out of bounds, Irvin. He gets the first down, but Griffin able to tackle him in play. Dallas does not want to use their final timeout, saving that to get a field goal unit on. 38-yard line. And the Browns now will use the timeout. Chris Boniolu could have tied the game as he hit the upright, sliced one through, but it was denied because of a penalty. And a reminder tomorrow night, don't miss the holiday comedy class. 31 seconds showing. And Troy Aikman trying to get them at least in field goal range to tie it up, and perhaps something even bigger.
I think the Cleveland Browns just did the Dallas Cowboys a favor by calling that timeout. It gives them a chance to collect. They can call 2 or 3 plays here and then go right to the line of scrimmage if the receiver does not get out of bounds. Again, you can't give a team this great many opportunities. Just a little sliver of hope. They're in the end zone.
Emmitt Smith, the lone running back. Irvin to the right. Williams slotted right, and Alvin Harper split left. And Aikman throws that one in between his 2 receivers. Williams was short, and Irvin had gone long to the sidelines.
Again, now a reminder that Troy Aikman's been out for 3 weeks or 2 weeks. This is the 3rd week. I think he's calling it on himself. I just don't have the timing. And the other thing is, you know, he practiced all week out at the Cowboys headquarters. That's grass. First time he's thrown on AstroTurf is when he walked out here to warm up. Could be a difference in the way he's setting up and getting away from the center.
26 seconds left. Going deep for Alvin Harper. Eric Turner makes the interception in the end zone. Turner's 8th of the year.
Well, it was worth a shot. Harper's won an awful lot of those contests in the end zone. He's trying to get the free safety away from that side of the field, but Eric Turner stays right with Alvin Harper and makes the interception. Big time play. Eric Turner again. Now the quarterback is trying to get the free safety away. There's Langham in coverage, and here's the problem. Turner doesn't buy the fake and is there to cover Harper and make the interception.
Meanwhile, Troy Aikman with Michael Dean Perry holding on. May not have had a chance to complete follow through. Well, Eric Turner, Bill Belichick says that he not only should make the Pro Bowl, he should be a candidate for the Defensive Player of the Year. And there's his 8th interception to deny Dallas. The Cleveland Browns, 10-point underdogs, leave the field with a 10-7 lead at the break. And the Browns, interestingly, moved the ball well on all 4 of their possessions against the Dallas defense. So from Texas Stadium, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York. Randy Baldwin from Mississippi. Short to Baldwin. Got a gap. And down the sidelines to the 43-yard line. Good field position for Vinny Testaverde. So the Cleveland Browns come in to measure themselves as they head for the playoffs with the best in the National Football League, and Emmitt Smith suddenly, and Mike Ditka pointed it out, he does so well in the one drive, then he disappears.
Yeah, I don't know what has happened to the the Dallas Cowboys choices here. I mean, Cleveland has dominated the first half. Cleveland's got to keep it clean in the second half. And for the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, the Cleveland defense has given them a lot of different looks, so there's not really something that Dallas can go to that works and works consistently, Dick.
And a storm.
Thanks, Dick. I talked to Barry Switzer at halftime. He said he wasn't concerned about Troy Aikman, although he admitted, obviously, Troy's timing was off, especially at the start of the game. He thinks Troy's in a rhythm now. Doesn't care too much about Troy. Thinks he's going to be okay. What he does care about is the running game and Emmitt Smith, who has 68 yards rushing, but a lot of that came on that big run that he had early in the game. Also on defense, he says he wants a lot better tackling. He's not happy with the fact that they haven't been able to stop Leroy Horde. Dick.
Smith was 68, Hannah, and 58 yards for Horde at the half. And here's Leroy Horde driving for a first down at the Dallas 46. So comparing the two top runners, and Horde holding his own against the All-Pro Emmitt Smith.
How about that 6.4-yard average for Leroy Horde? I mean, that's second and just over 3. That's a beautiful situation to put your offense and offensive coordinator in. Emmett, on the other hand, his next carry can go for 50. You know, Horde is not going to bust one. Emmett can at any moment.
Eric Metcalf comes in for Horde. Testaverde exchanges a final word with him. A first down at the Dallas 46. To Metcalf, well thrown and well covered by Darren Smith. And there's the speed of the Cowboy outside linebackers, and they just can run with those halfbacks.
And he's not the fast one. Dixon Edwards, the other linebacker, is the faster of the two. But again, thrown well by Vinny Testaverde, hits Metcalf in stride. And you're right, Darren Smith right there to bump him out of bounds, hold him to just a 3-yard gain. That's the secret to this Dallas defense. They want strength, but speed is absolutely mandatory.
Joe Gibbs may like speed on the racetrack, but Jimmy Johnson loves speed on the football field. That's how he drafted. Here's Horde. And they love him in Cleveland, though he does cough it up as he has today, because he's such a hard driving player. He really epitomizes the history of the Cleveland Browns with their big fullbacks through the years.
I see it. Excellent job by the front 5 of the Cleveland Browns, too. That's Doug Dawson, 69, with a good push. And you're right, Leroy Horde, he stays very close to those blockers.
Third down, a short 3. Tough catch by Michael Jackson. Well, he dropped an easy one, and with 2 Cowboys right on him, he's able to spear that one for a first down at the 35.
And this is a delay outside. You might catch Jackson going inside ever so slightly. Vinny rolls, double coverage, and he's still able to make the catch. See, it looked like he almost caught the back end of that football. This one is rifled. Yeah, that one almost got through his hands, and he still hangs on. Nice catch, Jackson.
Who has the touchdown reception at the end of the first quarter. 10-7, Cleveland leads. Leroy Horde battling for the extra yard to the 32-yard line. The 31, they'll spot it. Robert Jones from East Carolina, the middle backer, to make the stop. Jones, who was not one of the favorites of Jimmy Johnson, and felt relieved that with the coaching change he'd get more of an opportunity to play, and he is their leading tackler.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he was kind of attached to Dave Wannstedt. They were really close. When Wannstedt left and Nort moved inside, he kind of got lost, but he's reemerged as a great player.
Testaverde down the middle, and it's going to be intercepted by Larry Brown. No one near Brown, and he returns it to the 12-yard line.
That's got to be on the receiver. Vinny's looking down the field. Come on, run the right pattern. It'll be an interception against Vinny Testaverde. But Michael Jackson, 81, apparently runs the wrong pattern, and it results in an interception by Dallas.
Brown's 4th of the year. Interceptions, and then there are really gift interceptions. No one close to Larry Brown. Dallas from the 12, Emmitt Smith gains 2. Let's go to the interception. Why was there no one there for Testaverde?
Dick, as you look at the all-22, here's the matchup. Testaverde is trying to influence the safety, and he doesn't see Michael Jackson slip. There is contact between the corner and the receiver, and that's past the 5-yard. Well, it's close. But Testaverde doesn't see Jackson fall down, and you're right, it's an easy interception.
So each team with 2 turnovers. And Testaverde has been plagued by the interceptions this year. Smith. And you can almost hear Barry Switzer in that locker room at halftime. Give the ball to Double Deuce.
Yeah. He's carried a heavy load for the Dallas Cowboys this year. In fact, 323 carries coming into the game today, the most in the league. And he doesn't mind. I asked him, I said, how do you stay fresh? He says, I get a complete body massage twice a week. It takes out all the aches and pains.
2 hours per massage.
Yep. Just keeps me well, keeps me
something like
flexible.
hedonism. Nothing like hedonism.
Yeah, that's right.
Flag down, and that might be against the Browns, thrown by the head linesman. It would give Dallas a first down if against Cleveland. Looks like someone might have moved before the snap on the Cleveland side.
Offside. Defense number 92. 5-yard penalty. The yardage will be a first down.
Well, instead of 4th and 4, Michael Dean Perry with his second offside.
See, Michael Dean has basically been no factor today. Not because he's not a great player, but because of his bad back. Not able to practice all week. Took himself out of the game last week. He sent Jones back to the sideline. Said, I'm staying here. You go on the sideline.
Well, he likes to crowd that neutral zone, and they're watching that much closer this year. Emmett hit in the backfield by Rob Burnett. The 5-year end from Syracuse, who leads the team in sacks and has drawn the praise of his head coach.
Bill Belichick thinks that Burnett is probably their best defensive lineman. Originally, when he was drafted, Bud Carson was the defensive coordinator of Cleveland, and they drafted him because he was about 6'4", 250, and could really get up the field. Well, he's gained 30 pounds, and now has become a real tough run defensive end for the Browns.
2-yard loss. Fake to Smith. Throw to Smith. And Pepper Johnson makes the tackle at the 25, where it will be 3rd and 7. 3 catches for Emmitt Smith to go with another busy running day. Troy Aikman, who said, I'm going to be as well armored as John Elway next year. He said, I'm going to wear braces on both knees. I'll get used to him in the offseason. Said he just feels that's the smart way to go. Aikman, who, remember, like Smith, they're both young stars. Aikman's only 28, the youngest quarterback of the division leaders, and Smith is only 25. To Smith, and tried to check out the linebacker, and he saw Frank Stams there. Might not have made the first down anyway, and on comes the Dallas punter.
Good coverage that time by Cleveland. I mean, it was an easy choice for Troy Aikman. Emmitt Smith was the only guy open.
Oh, John Jett to punt. Looking for something a little longer, but they're trying to keep the ball away from Metcalf, who drifts back to the 30. Again, and this is returnable. Metcalf at the 36. But this saw nothing up the middle and headed for the sidelines, where a flag is thrown. 38-yard punt, 5 on the return. Out of bounds around the 43-yard line. What's a group of zebras? That's probably not just a herd. It's probably a fancy.
With unsportsmanlike on number 31 of the kicking team. He was pushed out of bounds, but he made no attempt to get back in the field, to get in the field of play. 15-yard penalty.
What?
Bob Trumpy will explain that to you when we return.
Who?
Penalty. Joe Avizano, the Cowboys special teams coach, very angry. It was before the Browns had possession, so the 15-yard penalty, or half the distance, marked back to the 12-yard line. We'll show you what happened as Brock Marion took the route through Plano by way of Waco to try to get in on that play. There's Brock Marion, and
I think Joe Avizano is saying he's not even on the punt team. He's not on the punt team.
He went out of bounds and made no effort to get back in play. In fact, we have a chance. He ran behind the Dallas bench. So Jett punts again to the dangerous Metcalf at the 45. Tries to get outside, and a good open field tackle by Dave Thomas.
We've not heard much from Leon Lett today, but watch the job he does on Doug Dawson. This is a very strong player. Just throws Dawson out of the way. When the cat wants to play, he plays like a big cat. Again, watch the strength. Just throws Doug Dawson out of the way.
It's the first time the Browns have been denied on 3rd and short. They'd made the previous 5. And Trumpy to punt. High, but off the side of his foot. And Cleveland covers it at the 22-yard line. Louis Riddick, and we have a timeout. Definition of a man. A tourist in Texas wearing that outfit.
How about that outfit? What's that guy?
Well, that's the Dog Pound. Hanford Dixon started that a few years back, and it's become the Cleveland image. And this defense living up to that. First down, Dallas, trailing 10-7, and down goes Aikman. Anthony Pleasant. Contradicting his last name as he barrels in on the Dallas quarterback.
Well, he does a bull rush on Tuanay. Tuanay, one of the best offensive tackles in the league. Watch this bull rush. See the hands by Anthony Pleasant? The Cleveland Browns have employed a taekwondo expert to help their offensive and defensive line with hand fighting. Oh, he just pushed Tuanay's hand up, ran right through his chest for the sack.
Second sack for Cleveland. Dallas second best in the league protecting quarterback. Cleveland's the best in the league. Aikman, 2nd and 17, down the middle and batted away. Veteran Don Griffin getting a left hand.
Oh, this game is unfolding now to the perfect liking of Bill Belichick. This is the double zone, corners out, safeties deep. Excellent play by Don Griffin. You know, long field behind the defense, make Dallas throw.
Interesting move by Michael Irvin. What's that good old boy top of the helmet? See you later.
That's the receiver's equivalent of the swim move that you hear.
That's right. a little crawl. Aikman now 11 for 21. Under pressure again. Goes deep down the middle to Irvin. Batted in the air. The second interception for Eric Turner. And they had their hands in another, and Turner might have caught that one on the end of a thumb or finger.
We saw him get an extra shoulder pad on the sideline a little bit. He doesn't really take any contact here, but he does have to stretch for it. This time it's Langham. Last time it was Griffin. When he reaches for it, looked like he stretched his shoulder out a little bit.
But here's Antonio Langham, this rookie from Alabama, their #1 draft pick. He was the 9th player selected. He is gold, isn't he?
Learning quickly.
Jet, the punt from his own 5. Slices one. And Cleveland will get the ball at the Dallas 45-yard line on a 30-yard punt by John Jett. Timeout. Enberg with Bob Trumpy and Hannah Storm. We're pleased you've joined us on this Saturday special edition of NFL on NBC, and invite you to be with us tomorrow for more key action beginning at 12:30 Eastern. Cleveland with its best field position start at the Dallas 45. Leading 10-7, 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Testaverde looking for a long one. Drills it downfield for Michael Jackson, broken up nicely. Kevin Smith on the coverage.
Interesting call.
Boy, that Testaverde, when he goes long, he reminds me of the former Ram star Roman Gabriel. He throws a clothesline. He didn't put a lot of air under these long attempts.
Well, Jackson does a good job of becoming defender there. You stop being a receiver and you start being a defender. He makes sure that there's no interception. I'm not a big fan of that particular call. Boy, you got defending world champions where you want them. Good field position. Let's pound it at them.
And the pounder is Leroy Horde. He gets it this time. And he gets it this time.
Now, see, they throw on first down. Well, let them celebrate. They've been quiet here for a while. They throw on first down. It forces 2nd and 10. Now, 2 things can happen. You're either going to throw or you're going to run inside. Whatever happens, you turn loose the defensive line. Now 3rd and 10. This is not a good series for Cleveland. They need this conversion big time.
3rd and 12. Quick throw, and it's Michael Jackson close to a first down. He's at the 35.5. That'll be about a half-yard short.
Oh, this is a tough choice.
They make 11.5, so the loss on the run of 2 to Horde denies the first down, as Jackson has his 5th catch. And Bill Belichick, it'd be a long field goal try of about 53, and they're going to go for the first down on 4th and a yard.
He's sending in the meat.
That means James Jones is going to be the blocking back, number 96. Jones, 290 pounds. And Horde, in behind him, has the first down at the 34. Actually, Jones went outside, and Horde took the inside route.
But if you look at Jones, the outside of Jones is about 3 yards from the inside of Jones. So he is a big fellow back there as a fullback.
He's a gapper.
Yes, he's a gapper. I'm not sure he even makes contact, but the guys up front do a good job of getting Cowboys on the ground. And Horde can make several choices. Again, now watch the lead block. He goes outside. That's a great job.
Herman Arvey, second-year man from Grand Vogel. Flags down. No play.
Everett never got the ball to the quarterback there.
False start. Offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And Steve Everett graduated in 4 years from Michigan and is an accomplished artist, as is his father. In fact, he's going to have his second showing in Cleveland. He's a surrealist. I guess that's appropriate for an offensive lineman.
Absolutely. And it looked like the center was the last guy to get the message there as to when it was supposed to be snapped. Started 16 games last year as a rookie out of Michigan. Not missed a start this year.
They really like him. 1st and 15. Draw, and Horde wrapped up by Chad Hennings. Number 95, Hennings, from the Air Force Academy. He is developing into a force defensively.
At 290 pounds, here's Hennings right here. They try to run the draw right at him. Unbelievable strength. He gets around the offensive guard, Bob Dahl, and makes the tackle. Very unusual. Andrew Beek on the sideline. Yeah.
Second and 18. Same play, only Metcalf runs it, and he squirts through. All the way to the 25-yard line. That'll leave him 1 yard shy of a first down. 17-yard pickup for Eric Metcalf, who has rushed for only 270 yards on the season coming in.
You're going to see a lineman pull right out in front. There's an excellent Gene Williams, and Eric Metcalf with that excellent speed surprises the Dallas defense. He was through there in a hurry.
3rd down. It's a long yard, about 1.5 yards, and in comes the 290-pound blocking back Jones with Horde behind him. He did that on his own. He was trapped by Chad Hennings in the backfield. Hennings had him, but Horde pranced away and has the first down at the 22.
Hennings beats the center. Everett just takes that inside move. Watch Hennings. He gets by the head of Everett, and Everett's able to get him on the ground. And you're right, Ed. Leroy Horde gets that foot up in the air and gets by that initial tackle. It's enough to pick up the first down.
And Horde wearily leaves the field.
Excellent job by Leroy Horde. Good, strong legs shown there.
Horde now with 86 yards in the game. Ernest Biner giving Horde a blow. Makes a yard. Leon Lett and Larry Brown from the secondary.
Should be coming right at you. Leon Lett again manhandling the center Everett. These are strong guys up front, but when Cleveland's needed that big play against this good front defensive line of Dallas, they've been able to execute.
In field goal range, the final seconds of the third quarter. On 2nd and 8, Testaverde to the tight end Keeson for 2. Darren Smith and James Washington make the tackle. So as we move to the fourth quarter, the Browns will have third down. They lead by 3, and they're inside the Dallas 20. As we'll be back after these messages from your local station. Cleveland Browns, toughest to score against in the league. Dallas, the second highest scoring team in the league, and the defense has prevailed through 3. And the visitors from the banks of Lake Erie lead by 3. It's third down and 6. Ball at the 18. Metcalf, the running back behind Testaverde. He's to the 14-yard line, short of the first down by 1.5 yards. So Belichick playing it fairly conservative there, hoping to catch Dallas with a surprise. Metcalf up the middle. You wouldn't figure that. And here comes Stover looking for his 18th in a row. Stover, who was picked by the Giants in their final round in 1990 and was injured as a rookie and missed the Super Bowl year, and then Cleveland found him. 32-yard attempt. Bangs at home. He's been perfect. 18 out of 18, the Cleveland record, and the Browns have a 6-point lead for the 32-yard field goal. Their lead is 6 as Stover spins one short. Kevin Williams at the 13. And he's out close to the 30-yard line. The Cowboys have only 1 yard on offense the second half as Aikman 30 Eastern. Aikman 50% pitching, but 1 for the last 6. Intercepted by Don Griffin. Is he down by contact? Yes. They whistle it dead back at the 46-yard line as Cleveland has its 3rd pick.
Irvin slipped down. Turf still wet. Aikman expecting the deep slant by Irvin. Don Griffin stays on his feet, makes the easy interception, and there's no question he was down by contact. Again, watch the slip. Right on the letters, right on the numbers at about the 40-yard line.
And that's where it is slickest, on the painted part of the artificial carpet.
Seems to hold water a little more than the rest of the carpet, and yet another turnover for the Cowboys.
So Aikman's return to the Cowboys has not been as well blessed as fans in this part of the world had hoped. 3 interceptions. He's under 500 passing against this tough Cleveland defense, and the Browns have it at the 45. Wide open is Jackson. He breaks a tackle, and he's inside the 30. Larry Brown's area again. 16 more yards for the thriller, Michael Jackson.
Can you sense the confidence in Cleveland growing here? Just a hitch. Washington, the safety's got to get out there. He has the underneath coverage and can't quite get out there fast enough. I mean, Cleveland's doing something to Dallas that few people do down here in Dallas.
You don't do that often against these linebackers, and Dixon Edwards denies a gain of maybe 3.
Now, you know, Troy Aikman made a comment to us yesterday when we talked to him about the Dallas Cowboys. As you look at the turnover table by the Cleveland Browns, what next? They had good results.
The Browns, as you pointed out earlier, when they lead in that turnover battle, they're 21-4 in their last 25 games, and they're ahead today 3-2. Jackson, but Larry Brown shut him off. He couldn't get clear, and Jackson thought it was an illegal chuck downfield, but Brown has the right to his part of the real estate as well.
And I think, too, as defensive backs get bigger along with receivers, you're going to have a lot of that hand fighting. I mean, they're both throwing punches there. It's hard for the official to decide exactly who started it. Aikman said to us yesterday something very interesting. We're normally on a roll at this time of year, and I can't get a feel for this football team. He was right. They've not played a very emotional game today, the Dallas Cowboys.
Big third down. Screen it and incomplete, and probably, if you're a Cleveland fan, just as well, because he was very deep in his own backfield and the white shirts were coming. So on arrives the place kicker Matt Stover, who builds on his Cleveland record, 18 straight, and this young man from Dallas has a chance, if he makes this one, to put Dallas in a very tight squeeze, although there's 12 minutes plus remaining. This to force the Cowboys to score more than a touchdown. 43-yard attempt. Boy, like it has magnets right down the middle. Stover gives Cleveland a 16-7 lead.
Boy, this is a good job done by Tom Tupa. That ball is low. He does get it up, laces forward, and Stover hits it solid.
Browns in front 16-7, and it's Williams at the 5. Kevin Williams. Oh, clotheslined at the 22-yard line by Frank Stamms, former Notre Dame debate team star.
Again, the field goal to snapper Everett. A good job by Tupa. And Stover, probably his career was not complete until he had a field goal at Texas Stadium. This is where he grew up. He hit that one solid. Yeah, that's just the way I pictured it when I was growing up here in the Dallas area.
Vinny Testaverde, who has led the Browns offensively, and now the other side, Troy Aikman, knows that the Browns have not allowed more than 2 touchdowns in a game for the last 6 weeks. Emmett Smith to the 26-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 7. Stamms in on that tackle, as well as Thomas Pepper Johnson.
Emmett gets up limping there a little bit. You can see the frustration when he banged that ball on the ground. This is the guy that can't get hurt. This is the guy they need as many snaps as possible on offense.
Yeah, they won without Aikman, but without Emmett, it might be a different story. And it's after a very bold first quarter. Smith 15, 19, 23 yards in the last 3 periods. He's the go-to guy and has the first down at the 34.
Steve on Moore, that's Carl Banks down on the ground grabbing his leg.
11-year veteran. See what happens. Number 58 right there in your picture.
I think you're going to see him get hit by his own man as he sheds the block from Novacek. Yeah, one of his own defensive linemen just plows into his knee. Carl does get up, but he is limping and limping badly.
Banks giving that solid veteran experience at backer along with Pepper Johnson. Let's see who Belichick sends in. Mike Caldwell, second-year backer from Middle Tennessee State, number 56. Just in time to pilfer that one. 18 yards for Irvin.
Watch Langham's arm right through the arms of Irvin here. There the arm is up. Irvin big, strong, still hanging onto the football. Now Aikman's trying to fire up this football team, try to get them to play to their normal level.
Only the 3rd first down this half for Dallas. 41-yard line. A hard-earned 6. Gerald Dixon in the game at backer helps on the tackle. 91 yards for Smith.
This team has certainly won enough in previous seasons to know how to deal with situations like this, but at the same time, they can save this game with a typical defending Super Bowl championship team, but they have not played like that defending Super Bowl champion to this point.
Cleveland 16, Dallas 7. Approaching the 10-minute mark in the final quarter. First down, and he's close to 100 yards now. That is right on the nose. 100 yards for Smith, the first back to get a century against the Cleveland defense this year.
Again, watch the sliding of Emmitt Smith here. Just a little slide back and forth. The weave, the bob. Stevan Moore hits him. Turner hits him, but not till he's well deep into the defensive backfield.
100 yards on 20 carries. Three different Browns had him in the backfield for a loss, and he finally gets out to the 30-yard line and turns a couple-yard loss into a couple-yard gain before James Jones and Caldwell can make the tackle. And 100 yards, a goal for every great runner. And of the active players, Herman Thomas the leader. Barry Sanders had 100 today, and now Emmitt Smith with 31. Surprising that Marcus Allen only 22 100-yard games.
Well, he did a lot of blocking those years out there with Bo Jackson, and he had a couple years of inactivity, didn't he?
Second down, Aikman throwing for Irvin. That'll be another first down at the 17, and here come the Super Bowl champions.
From behind the offense, pass will be thrown to the left. Great confidence in Irvin. Again, it's on Langham, who doesn't have bad coverage, but Irvin just makes that quick break. The bump, the little push off. And when you have a reputation like Michael Irvin, I think sometimes the receivers get away with those little hand checks.
This is only the second time Dallas has been inside the Cleveland 20 today. Smith buried. No gain. Maybe a yard loss, and the clock ticks to 8:22, 8:21.
Well, this is certainly not what the people in Dallas, Texas expected after the Browns lose to the Giants last week. Oh, this is just the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they've got 4 wins against Cincinnati and Houston. Who are they? They're nothing. They got an easy schedule. Uh-oh. Oops.
And Switzer, of course, also noting that tend to let down. They clinched the NFC East. Dallas has. Swing it to Smith. Beats Dixon. Out of bounds with a close to a first down at the 8. 10-yard gain. Moore and Caldwell make the tackle. Gerald Dixon, number 51, couldn't get there.
Excellent job by Aikman. He's looking downfield as best he can, and then the acceleration of Emmitt Smith, not known as a particularly fast running back, but he can accelerate. There's the owner, Jerry.
Owner Jerry Jones with the Jones family. His father Pat on Thursday had very complicated triple bypass heart surgery, and the news is good for his father. Emmitt Smith sticking his helmet in the hole, and that'll be good enough for the first down for Dallas. First and goal, Cowboys, with 7:19 on the clock.
I think they have that emotional reserve. Doesn't it show? I mean, certainly in this drive, well, we put ourselves in this spot. Now we got to do something about it, fellas. Let's go get them.
I mean, let me make sure I know now. Emotional reserve. Does that have 22 on its uniform by any chance?
Yes, a big part of it is Emmitt Smith, emotional reserve. You're right.
First and goal at the 6. Slips down and still makes 2 yards.
He's exhausted. This has been a lot of Emmitt Smith on this drive. Look at his ability to bounce up after he slipped. Boom, hand down, back up. Let's keep it going, fellas.
Built like Barry Sanders, short but strong, 209 pounds, 5'9". Looking for his 20th rushing touchdown of the season. He's got it. Emmitt Smith the third. 20 touchdowns, 4 shy of the all-time NFL record. Riggins with 24. And with both touchdowns today for Dallas, he has 74 career touchdowns, and he's only 25 years of age. Extra point by Boniol, and the score now 16-14 Cleveland. Plenty of time left. This sellout crowd at Texas Stadium comes to life as their beloved Cowboys are within a field goal of a victory. And on the backs of Emmitt Smith, that last drive.
48 of the 78 yards at the hands of Emmitt Smith.
First player to gain 100 against Cleveland. First to score 2 touchdowns against Cleveland this year. Eric Metcalf. And he dances out to the 41-yard line on the return.
Dig back to the touchdown. Moose Johnson is going to indicate where this draw goes, but you see Emmitt bounce back. Watch the block, 1 by Novacek and 2 by Nate Newton. The strong side is to the right, but when Emmitt Smith runs the ball, you've always got to think of the cutoff block on the backside, executed to perfection by Nate Newton, and Jay Novacek, he's in the end zone.
Now the pressure shifts to the Cleveland Browns offense, and Vinny Testaverde. Good field position at the 41. 6 minutes, 9 seconds left. Leroy Horde for 4. Tolbert, the tackler. And we're now under 6 minutes to play. Horde having a big game, 94 yards, just as Cleveland stingy against the run. Only one man, Barry Sanders, has rushed for over 100 against Dallas, and Horde is closing in on that.
That 100-yard performance by Barry Sanders was also a winning performance down here in Dallas, too.
In overtime. Six-year veteran from Texas El Paso has had a big game against the run.
He has a lot of big games. This is a draw. Good job up front initially, but then Tolbert gets off the block, and he is right there in the backfield to stop Horde.
3rd and 7. Metcalf in. Horde out. Complete to Mark Carrier, his first catch today. Former teammate of Testaverde at Tampa Bay has a first down.
He used to be the big receiver in this offense, but he runs the crossing route underneath Schwantz, the linebacker who comes in the nickel package. He gets just enough for the first down. Schwantz is replacing Billy Bates out with that fractured thumb. Schwantz doesn't get a lot of playing time. They needed to stop that one. Big conversion by the Cleveland Browns.
At the Dallas 49, clock running at 4:18. To the 45. It'll be 2nd and 6. And if you're joining us late, that man, Leroy Horde, closing in on 100 yards, was on his way to a touchdown on the very first Cleveland possession, hit by Haley from behind, fumbled at the 1, into the end zone, recovered by Dallas. Or the Cleveland Browns wouldn't be in quite such a nervous spot. But Horde, since that time, plowing for tough yards, now has 97. 3:37 left. Well recovered by Kevin. Check that. Darren Woodson or Larry Brown? It was Larry Brown.
Alexander takes the inside release on Brown. Watch the right arm of Brown. Makes contact with the ball, but knocks the arms of Alexander down. Rookie receiver. When you get by that defender, you learn. Place yourself so that the ball can get to you. He let Brown beat him to the ball.
That stops the clock. Dallas likes that. And it's 3rd down and 6. Screen intended for Metcalf. And Darren Woodson had it read all the way. He was right in the thick of it.
The Browns offensive line also allowed the defensive lineman to release too quickly. Vinny's going to throw that too fast. Eric Metcalf doesn't even see it.
It's Kenneth Gant. Not Woodson, but Kenneth Gant who read it.
If Gant looks up, he might have a chance to catch that football.
Stops the clock with 3:22 remaining. Each team with all timeouts left. Kevin Williams back. Tupa to punt. Did they call time? Actually, Bill Belichick probably wouldn't want to waste it.
Running out. Timeout. Cleveland.
Oh.
Their first charge timeout.
That could be a valuable timeout in that part of the field. A very unusual timeout unless they didn't have the right personnel on the field. Every game so crucial, and let's hope your enjoyment provides as much drama tomorrow. Starts at 12:30 on NBC. Normally you just take a 5-yard penalty this part of the field, but a timeout called by Cleveland. And Tupa to Williams. Fair catch at the 8-yard line. Timeout. Dallas with the ball. Trailing by 2 and 3 minutes plus to go. Stadium, and a reminder tonight, it's your only chance this year to see the Christmas. Aikman has it right in his lap, although he's not had the field position enjoyed by Vinny Testaverde, as you can see. And he starts here even worse than his 19. He's on the 8-yard line. Needs to get it to the 30 for what could be a winning field goal try. He's got plenty of time, and he's got all his timeouts. Novacek, the tight end, finally with a catch and tackled at the 13-yard line, a gain of 5. Jay Novacek with his 37th reception of the year. One of the great owners in the NFL, Art Modell, here from Cleveland to cheer the Browns. Into the flat to Johnston. And Moose, does he get out of bounds? No. Ruled down by contact inbounds, shy of the 15. So there's 2 plays for short yardage, and injured Brown, Antonio Langham.
That looked like a knee right to the helmet of Langham. Johnston hit him right on the helmet. Leave him alone. Eric Turner's trying to roll him over there. Leave him alone.
2:29 left.
Setting up the downfield stuff. Sure-handed Darrell Johnston to watch the helmet. The knee, well, just kind of rejected that helmet back.
Johnstone, because of he uses all the biggest pads. He's 238 pounds, but he just looks like he weighs about 268.
I think he wants to look like he weighs 268. Makes his job a little easier.
Langham holding his shoulder, and young kid from Alabama playing so well today. Pride and joy of Town Creek, Alabama. Isaac Booth replaces him. 3rd down and 2. He straightened up. What a tackle inside by number 56, Mike Caldwell. He's replacing the injured Carl Banks, and that's going to be short of the 1st down. It's going to force Dallas to spend a timeout with 4th down and about well, a long one.
Well, what's the decision that Gary Switzer has here? There's no good decision here, Dick. I still can't pick out who it is on the bottom of the pile. It looks like Bill Johnson, number 94. Troy Aikman never got the football. You see Johnson on Stepnoski. He's got a crucial block there. That was going to be a pass. Troy Aikman never got the football.
And Bill Johnson, third-year lineman from Michigan State, swallows it up, and the defense of Bill Belichick has been the difference. We said today that it was perhaps even Dallas offense, Cleveland defense, and Art Modell says, and our offense against the Dallas defense was good enough. 16-14.
Well, Pittsburgh. Here comes Cleveland to Three Rivers Stadium next week.
But there's still 2:11 left. Don't forget last week the Eagles thought they were driving in to win it. Leroy Horde driven back as the Cowboys think fumble, and the clock ticks down to the 2-minute timeout. The Cleveland Browns looking for their 10th win of the year. No time called up by Dallas before the 2-minute timeout. Emmitt Smith has done his part, but Troy Aikman showing some rustiness after a couple of weeks off. Not as sharp as we have seen him. 3 interceptions and now a fumbled snap from center. That's all part of that rhythm. He was very candid with us yesterday. You know, at this time the last 2 years, we just flat out knew we were good and on a roll. We just had it together. We just felt it, the whole team.
Yeah.
He said, I don't feel that at this time this year. Now this is coming from a man whose team is 11-2.
But then, Dick, when he made that comment, I was initially struck with Jimmy Johnson took care of the emotion of this football team when he fired him up early in the week. Barry Switzer does not take that approach. He has turned that over to the players. Gentlemen, you got to get it done. You're the 2-time defending world champion. And the Dallas Cowboys, I think, are in uncharted water here by themselves. Now, this is a great opportunity for Barry Switzer to insert himself in the rest of this season and say, you can't do it? Fellas, I'll do it for you. And he will.
Dallas has a timeout plus the 2-minute timeout. Fake to Horde. It's deflected. Oh, Tony Tolbert with a big mitt up there to bat that one. If that flops into his arms, there's going to be a lot of noise in Big D. Look at Tolbert.
He senses what is coming, and when he disengages from Orlando Brown, oh, maybe with 2 hands, he might have made the interception.
Victory, should they complete their work here in Dallas, that would certainly build in many ways for them as they close out this season. 3rd and 13, 1 timeout left for Dallas. Ford now in position for Matt Stover's 4th field goal as Dallas uses its final timeout. So Dallas's defense held Cleveland in check. A field goal still does not assure victory for Cleveland, and there's plenty of time left. But this to make a touchdown, it'll take a touchdown to beat Cleveland if Stover is successful 4 out of 4. We have the big game tomorrow. The late
standing, one of the best there is in the game, and of course still the big question, does Elway play or not?
Looking for his 20th consecutive field goal. 32 yards away. So the kid comes home. Matt Stover, a Dallas native, kicks his 4th consecutive today, his 20th in a row this season, and the Browns lead is 5.
Again, good snap, good solid hold. And Matt Stover is kicking like he's kicked in Texas Stadium his entire career. This has got to be so special for the young man. And on the sideline, the first famous football 32, Jim Brown.
Art Modell able to see his team move ahead by 5. Couldn't blame him if he wanted a little more than that.
Oh, yes. You never have enough when you're playing the defending Super Bowl champion.
So the Cleveland Browns, the toughest defense to score against, now say, okay, Dallas, you're the best in the NFL the last 2 years. We've taken the turnovers. We've gotten 3 field goals out of them. We have a 5-point lead, and you'll get your final chance to win it. But you've got to beat our stingy defense without a timeout. Emmitt Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin and company with the heavy armor well in place.
Well, just to show you the faith of the fans of the Dallas Cowboys, they're still here. They still think that Dallas can pull this game out.
Kevin Williams, who has a couple of kick returns for touchdowns this year, stands inside the 10. Stover to the 6. Gets a crease. And he's out to the 47-yard line. Stover in on the tackle. Return for Kevin Williams.
It can come from so many different ways. Just that little edge, that little bit of enthusiasm. A nice big return here gives the offense great field position.
Credit Godfrey Miles with that block that opened the crease to the left. This is the best start of the game. Field position for Aikman. The 37-yard line, marking the 36 by Alvin Harper.
But he didn't get out of bounds. With no timeouts left, he should have gotten out of bounds.
He wanted to make sure in that play that he got the ball. That was a tough, low throw from Aikman. Williams slotted right. Over the middle to Emmitt Smith, and the clock will run as the tackle made by Mike Caldwell. Done a good job filling in. 1 minute to go. Aikman hit. Complete to Irvin. Trying to get out of bounds. He does not. Good play by Don Griffin to hold him in bounds until help came.
I can't believe they didn't throw a flag on that last reception. There was contact everywhere, Dick.
Ball at the 22 with a first down. 30 seconds left.
He's staying in the umpire. That took too long to get the ball lined up. It cost us 6 or 8 seconds.
28 ticks left on the clock. You couldn't orchestrate better drama. You get the team regarded by many as the best in the league, and you put them in a position where they have to win it under the direst circumstances.
Watch this last reception. See Irvin push off, almost throws Griffin to the ground. No flag. It's allowed, but he doesn't get out of bounds.
8 catches for Michael Irvin, 102 yards. And Irvin was really nailed on the play. Pepper Johnson got it. Throws that one away and avoids the sack and stops the clock as Pepper Johnson and Rob Burnett were in his face. 23 seconds left. It's 3rd down and 10.
Dallas only had 3 receivers in the pattern there, Dick, on that 2nd and 10.
Aikman now 19 out of 32, 168 yards. Emmitt Smith, the running back. Williams in motion. Over the middle, to the 7-yard line to Kevin Williams. He'll try to get his team up there and stop the clock. Unless he pulls a Marino. 10 seconds remain. 2 plays at least.
Kevin Williams in motion was a touch of brilliance. They run the delay. He gets underneath the coverage. An excellent catch, a nice throw. The closest man in coverage was
Stacey
Hairston. And Aikman is looking all the way. Excellent call.
Cleveland Browns call time. That defensive line on this drive really look tired.
Yep.
So they're going to use a timeout to talk it over and to get some rest.
Well, you got two of the biggest wide receivers in the game. It is second down. If you can't play R.C. Owens with him here a couple of times, once to Harper and once to Irvin in the end zone, that is just get them up, let the receivers go for him.
This is where Troy Aikman will have his input. The offensive brain trust upstairs, the sidelines all working together. They practice every day. They go through film studies for this situation. What do? You got 2 plays left and the ball's on your opponent's 6-yard line and the game is in the balance.
And here's the best thing about the Dallas Cowboys. You got Irvin, Harper, Novacek, and Smith. All 4 want the ball.
And a reminder that you weren't with us earlier. The first touchdown was scored by Emmitt Smith on a pass reception. The first time he's caught a touchdown pass all year, and it was in this spot on the field. Harper right, Irvin left, Novacek slotted on the left, Johnston out on the right. Novacek, is he in? No, he didn't get in. Clock is running. The Cleveland Browns have won. And there have been some big victories in the storied history of the Cleveland Browns, but in modern history, this is huge. Their first 10-win season in 8 years since Schottenheimer was coach. They come to the Super Bowl champions home, and they stop them on the 1-yard line on the final play of the game to win it 19-14.
Dick, Novacek's feet slipped out from underneath him. It's been a problem all day here on the carpet at Texas Stadium, and he just couldn't quite get the footage to get into the end zone. It's a tight end delay. Aikman looks away. It's going to be coming right at you. Johnson releases underneath. Here comes. Now watch his feet. Again, slips out from underneath him. It's happened all day long.
Eric Turner, the all-pro safety, the young safety, denied him the end zone. Switzer, it looked like a touchdown when Novacek caught it. I think everyone in this crowd, they got 50.5 of the 51 yards on the drive. And the Cleveland Browns defense, the Dallas Cowboys 19-14.
This game is a game of inches.
Art Modell not sure. He's going to wait before he celebrates. He said, you may have seen it with your heart. Now it's for real. And the Browns exploded off the bench. His young defensive coordinator, Nick Saban, on his way to Michigan State. You can play the Cleveland Browns fight song now. The Cleveland Browns, who haven't allowed more than 2 touchdowns in 7 straight games, do it again, and they beat Dallas.